Beyond our galaxy. On today's show, we're going to be talking about aliens you love to hate. In space science fiction, there are the good guys and there are those bad guys as well. There are many space shows I have watched growing up that I either love the aliens or you love to hate them. While I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, I had many favorite space shows. But perhaps one of the most enduring space movie characters is the one seen in the next picture. Darth Vader! From the infamous space movie titled Star Wars, created and produced by George Lucas. Released May 25th, 1977. Darth Vader was played by actor David Prowse. Budget, $11 million. No, I don't want to join the dark side of the Force. Come with me, Dr. Smith, willingly, or I will force you. No, I am old. Besides, I am really a coward at heart. Warning, Darth. He's right. Dr. Smith is old and a real coward. Star Wars has one theme to its movie, as Darth tells us. I am going to crush this galactic rebellion against the Empire. No, I'm too young to die. British actor Mark Prowse, July 1st, 1935 to present. This actor played Darth Vader, our evil alien who was trying to rule the universe. British actor who played in all three Star Wars movies. Luke Skywalker. American actor Mark Hamill, September 25th, 1951 to present. Actor, voice actor, and writer. Alma mater, Los Angeles City College. Luke Skywalker, come with me to my empire and help me rule the universe together. What? You know what, Darth? You're ugly and your breath stinks. But Luke, I am your father. What? I think I need a hearing aid. I must be hearing things. No, Luke, it's the truth. I am your father, and I control the universe. You're not my father, you ugly old goose. Luke, you're gonna lose this battle. Evil will win, and good will be destroyed. Come with me, Luke. The Death Star is about to destroy Earth. T-minus 23 hours, 23 minutes, and 23 seconds, and counting to destroy Earth. Oh no! Please don't destroy my beautiful, sweet Earth! No! We are now going to be looking at some of those aliens you love to hate from the popular space show Lost in Space. Aired from 1965 to 1968. Lost in Space was one of my favorite sci-fi space shows. I was 10 years old when it came on television, and I was most likely in the 5th grade at that time. First aired 1965. First 29 episodes were in black and white TV. 54 episodes were in color TV. Total episodes in all, 83. Each episode was at a cost of about $4 million each. Created by Irwin Allen. Creator and producer Irwin Allen, 1916 to 1991. Allen is best known to being the master of disaster shows and movies. He created TV shows like Land of the Giants and the disaster movie The Towering Inferno. Sheila Allen, 1929 to 2013. She's married to Ern Allen from 1974 to 1991. She appears in Lost in Space a few times and other shows and films as well that Ern Allen had created. Lost in Space. A journey begins inside this spaceship called the Jupiter 2. A family called the Robinsons are chosen to fly in the spaceship that was to take them to a place called Alpha Centauri. However, disaster strikes when the reluctant stowaway named Dr. Smith fails to get off the Jupiter 2 in time of the launch. Dr. Smith, however, helps save the Robinson family from destruction by releasing them from their freezing tubes and averting disasters from asteroids hitting their ship. Thus, the exciting adventures of Lost in Space begins as the Robinson family, Major West, Dr. Smith, and the B-9 robot explore space and find alien life forms both friendly and hostile. One of the first alien creatures found on the planet they first land on was a chimpanzee. This chimpanzee is oddly enough found alone on the planet. This alien creature becomes Penny's pet. Oddly enough, you just gotta love this alien creature. Now here's an ugly looking alien with one eye. This ugly duckling creature tries to destroy the space explorers while going for a stroll in the chariot. Major West shoots this ugly creature with the laser rifle and they are able to keep moving along their way. This alien creature is the kind you just have to hate because it's so ugly and mean. Here's one of my favorite aliens shown on Lost in Space. The Keeper, Part 1 and 2. This is the only episode for which is a two-part series on Lost in Space. The Keeper's theme was he goes throughout the universe collecting unusual creatures to keep in his spaceship. The highlight of this episode is when he wants Will and Penny, the children, for his collection. Here's what the Keeper's spaceship looked like from the distance. But when you get up close to it, the ship appears to be really big. Here's the Keeper with Will and Penny standing in front of the big spaceship. The Keeper greets them and gives them a guided tour on board. Here we see Will and Penny fascinated with all the different kind of alien creatures the Keeper has. They are reluctant to go, but if they have to, they will. The horrifying highlight comes when Dr. Smith enters the Keeper's ship with the robot alone. Dr. Smith ignorantly releases all the Keeper's creatures, threatening them and the rest of the space explorers. The turning point happens when Maureen Robinson finds the Keeper unconscious after the giant spider catches them off guard. The Keeper becomes surprised by the compassion Mrs. Robinson shows him, and this turns the whole show around. He realizes the others are in danger because the giant spider creature is on the loose and goes with Mrs. Robinson to rescue the others. Here the giant spider tries to crush the chariot and get the explorers who are inside of it. The Keeper rescues the ones trapped inside the chariot, and tragedy is averted. The comical ending of the show is when the Keeper decides to leave Dr. Smith in the cage he was placed in the first time. There were many more aliens that appeared on Lost in Space that either the ones you love to watch or love to hate. This is one of my favorite episodes, titled The Girl from the Green Dimension, aired January 4th, 1967. This was an alien woman who, even though she was somewhat sinister, she was a beautiful alien. Athena is the green woman's name who falls in love with Dr. Smith. Athena appears in 2 episodes of the original Lost in Space. Athena appeared first as the titled episode, The Green Lady. Vitina Marcus, born March 31st, 1971. Age as of time of year 2020 is now 83 years old. Hungarian descent. The actress has played on such shows like The Time Tunnel, Half Gun Will Travel, and Gunsmoke. On the first encounter episode, The Green Lady, his lover Athena, is seen here having fun with Dr. Smith outside of the Jupiter 2 in space. Athena is sinister, but a good alien, and you can easily fall in love with her too. Athena's really after the Jupiter 2 fuel supply. Here's Dr. Smith trying to convince Athena he really doesn't want her or want to fight the one who really wants her. This Green Viking seen here wants Athena more than Dr. Smith does. This character doesn't say one word during his appearance on this episode. Just makes grunt sounds and features a lot. You actually can't hate this alien guy, but when the show ends, you are glad to see him go. The Green Viking turns Will green until Dr. Smith duels with him for Athena. The comedy relief in this scene is when Professor tells Will that, you know, Will, green isn't really a bad color after all. The funny thing here is he is wearing a green uniform. The cowardly Dr. Smith carried a hold of a gun straight to shoot this Green Viking. The comical relief of this scene is watching the Green Viking looking silly at the pistol and looking dumbfounded about it. All ends well when Athena captures the Green Viking's affection for her and Will is turned back to normal. Athena gets her last laugh when she leaves a green kiss on Dr. Smith's eye, seen here in this picture. Our third and final episode we are going to briefly talk about was rather a humorous one. This is what made watching the original Lost in Space so much fun to watch every week. Dr. Smith inherits a pair of Viking gloves in this special episode titled The Space Viking. Of course, we all know Dr. Smith is really a coward at heart. Through Dr. Smith's play acting, he brings out the magical gauntlets and warhammer of the Norse god Thor. He is mistaken for a warrior foe who eventually has to duel with Thor. Lost in Space would always play the credits of who were to be on the show, such as guest star Sheila Matthews. This actress played on Lost in Space in a couple of its episodes and was a familiar face to see. Yo-hoy! Yo-hoy! Wow, what an entrance for this guest star. What is really interesting about this guest star, her real name was Sheila Allen, the former creator and producer's wife of Aaron Allen. Dr. Smith acts so brave as he is teleported to the planet Asgard, and Will grabs onto the horse's tail for the ride. Thor casts Will and Smith down the cold, icy cave where they are met by these 2 small elves. These 2 elves only say a couple of words back to Smith and Will, that of course is a comical release situation. Shoo! Scat! Here we see Dr. Smith having a feast with Brynhilda while Thor is not around. While Smith is allowed to feast on food, he is very brave, but when Thor is around, he is typically a coward that he is. Where is that coward? I'm going to slice him in half with this sword. Dr. Smith is saved in the end when Thor is reunited with Brynhilda, and together they go out to fight the Frost Giants. Well, it's time to show some other pictures of aliens that were seen on the original Lost in Space television show. So if you are from this era growing up watching Lost in Space, see if you can recall the next few pictures what episodes these pictures came from. So pour yourself a warm cup of coffee and sit right back down in the easy chair, relax, and enjoy. We are now going to briefly talk about another favorite space show of mine, Star Trek Original Series. Aired from September 8th, 1966 to June 3rd, 1969. This came on around the same time The Lost in Space did and was aired on NBC. Each TV episode had a budget of about $190,000, while Star Trek The Motion Picture had a budget of about $45 million. Star Trek creator and producer Gene Roddenberry from 1921 to 1991. He was part of the Los Angeles Police Department attached to the Traffic Department and then transferred to the newspaper, part of the job. Alma mater, Los Angeles City College. Here are the three main characters of the original Star Trek television show. Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, Canadian actor, 1931 to present, is age 89 years old now. First science officer, Mr. Spock. Leonard Nimoy, 1931 to 2013. He was 75 years old when he died. Chief Medical Officer, Bones. DeForest Kelley from 1920 to 1999, age 69 years old when he died. Original Star Trek television show. The original Star Trek has a space crew sign on board the ship called the USS Enterprise. The time frame of this show is in the 23rd century. This makes it a believable show because it is set way into the future. Television episodes ran for about 52 minutes, and again with a budget of about 190,635 hours per episode. There's a total of 12 movies made with a budget of about an average of $101,766,606. We are now going to be looking at a couple of my favorite shows from the original Star Trek series. This was one of my favorite episodes because it mentions one of the most notorious serial killer in history. This person was known as Jack the Ripper. The theme of this murder episode is found in the story of Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper existed during the time of about 1888 in London, England. He was an unidentified serial killer who would go about the streets of London at night and in a foggy setting killing random women. Season 2, Episode 14, Wolf in the Fold, written by Robert Bloch. Air date, December 22nd, 1967. Guest star, John Fielder, 1925 to 2005, American actor. This man was involved in stage, film, voice acting, television, radio for over 55 years, was in the U.S. Navy during World War II, and is buried in the Atlantic Ocean. As part of R&R off the ship and on to another planet, Scotty joins the three main characters and a good belly dancer seen here in this picture. Engineer Scotty gets romantically involved with the belly dancer and she begins to take him to her home. While walking with him in the night, the woman senses a strange evil thing about to happen and she screams. Tanya Limani, American-Iranian actress, born March 17, 1945. At the time of this show, she is 75 years old now. She played the belly dancer character. Engineer Scotty is found with a bloody knife in his hand and the belly dancer laying dead on the ground. It doesn't look good for Scotty, and everyone loves a good murder mystery also. The administrator hints shows the murder weapon to Scotty, who can't seem to recall anything. Since Scotty can't recall what happened with him and the belly dancer, a seance is pursued with a medium character called Sybil. The mystery gets even more interesting and bad times for Scotty again. The seance begins, and the lights get turned down low. They want to contact the dead belly dancer to find out who murdered her. It gets more intense and fearful when Sybil begins to speak. A monstrous, terrible evil, a hunger that never dies. And then the lights all go dark and come back on with the woman found dead on the floor and Scotty holding her in his arms. Pilar Surratt, 1938 to 2001, American Filipino actress, played the medium character Sybil. She also played on TV shows like Original Hawaii Five-0 and Gunsmoke. Captain Kirk ensues a hearing and questions Scotty about both murders, and he still can't recall anything. When Kirk inquires the computer about killers with the same kind of trait from the past, it finally says this: Jack the Ripper. The administrator was possessed by the evil murderer Jack the Ripper, and fear begins to take over the crew. The administrator, however, quickly gets back up, holding the yeoman hostage, warning everyone about the fear to come. The administrator once again falls dead back to the floor, and his voice continues to speak even though he's now dead. Yam! Die! Die! You all are going to die! Kirk orders McCoy to give the crew a mild tranquilizer to relax them, and he takes the dead administrator to the transporter room and sends him out to space where the body is destroyed. We are now going to be talking a little bit about the next Star Trek episode. This was another one of my favorite episodes because it was about gangsters who were like the ones living in the Roaring Twenties. The costumes were awesome and the special effects very interesting. A Piece of the Action, Season 2, Episode 17, aired January 12, 1968. Theme: Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, and Dr. McCoy beam down to a planet which they find the government is similar to the Chicago gangs of the 1920s. As a trio of our show beam down to check out the new planet, they are greeted by two gangsters who believe they are part of the rival gangsters. They are taken to the gangster's boss's place and further checked out. The gangsters even had their own girlfriends who acted tough as well. The clothes they wore and the way they acted made you feel like you were actually back in the Roaring Twenties. Captain Kirk meets the boss and shows him who is the boss. Kirk and Spock try to get the mob bosses to realize that cooperation with each other is the best way to live. What made this episode so fun to watch was the way Spock and Kirk dressed and acted when dealing with the old-fashioned things. Indeed, the Roaring Twenties was a different kind of time to be living. It seems really odd the way people act during the Roaring Twenties. Well, Mr. Spock, that's just the way humans acted sometimes, that's all. Then there are the smaller kids who act tough, and they want a piece of the action as well. This scene was filmed at a backdrop in Boston. It's amazing what film studios can do to make you think you are really where you are. Kirk tries to influence one of the gangster leaders, named Belta, that cooperation with each other is a lot better way of living. Spock, on the other hand, tries convincing another mob boss to cooperate with each other. Everyone loves going back into time, and why not the Roaring Twenties as well? The mobster boss Crackle gives in to Spock's request and turns in his gun. Kirk kicks back with his shoes on the desk in the office with the mob boss's present, says, "Now if all three of you would just cooperate, you too can all have a piece of the action here." With all three mob gangster bosses present, they question Kirk's proposal. What? Are you crazy, Kirk? You want us to cooperate with each other? I could give you a piece of my action if you gentlemen care to step over to the window. Okay, Scotty. Fire phaser on coordinates I gave and just stunned the gangsters. As the gangster bosses move towards the window with the trio stars at hand, they look out the window. And then one of my favorite scenes of special effects takes place, making it look real and believable. I just love special effects, and this happens to be one of my favorite effects that happen. Gotti supposedly fires the ship's phasers where Kirk wants him to, and the effect is so awesome. This is so awesome. The phaser effect hits the intended targets, and at last the mob bosses are convinced that cooperation is better than bloodshed. You see, Spock, cooperation is the best thing for democracy to happen. That would seem to be a logical conclusion, Captain. It's more than just logic, Spock. It's a good feeling to know when a human is free to choose the right way to live. The next few pictures will show the viewer what characters look like and playing their part and what they actually look like without the costumes. The Tough Kid. Sheldon Collins, the Tough Kid. He is now aged 65. Thorne, the gangster boss girlfriend. Actress Diane Thorne, from 1936 to 2020. Acted in several films and TV shows. Died at the age of 83 years old. Balta, the mob boss. Actor Lee Delano, born and raised in New York City. Graduated from the Neighborhood Playhouse School of Theater. Born on January 11th, 1931. Present age of the time of this show is 89. Mob boss Bela Oxamy. American actor Anthony Crusoe, 1916 to 2003. Died at the age of 86. Film and TV actor. Played mostly as a gangster or a villain, so this episode on Star Trek was a good fit for him. We are now going to be showing some of the episodes from the original Star Trek series. See if you can guess what episodes these pictures come from. So get yourself a warm cup of coffee and sit right back down in your easy chair, relax, and enjoy. Beyond our